rock and roll guy at heart, but through the years I've played at least a little bit of just about everything. And a long time ago I joined a country band, and one of the biggest things I got out of that was hybrid picking and incorporating that technique into my own playing. And I know a lot of guitarists kind of wonder, how do you get started with that? How do you get into it? So I thought I'd throw out a few kind of simple little phrases that you could maybe get started with. First thing, let's look at kind of a 3-note shape. So we'll be using our pick and the middle and ring fingers here, which is, most hybrid picking is going to be that. There's the exceptional player that will incorporate the pinky, but that again is the exception rather than the rule. And so here I'm going to use the top of an E major chord, like an open E major, and I'm just going to be fretting the first fret of the 3rd string, leaving the top 2 strings open. So my pick is going to be picking the 3rd string. I'll have my middle finger kind of assigned to the 2nd string and my ring finger assigned to the 1st string. So the first little phrase here is kind of a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and like an 8th and 2/16 notes. So we'll pick that 3rd string, that's our 8th note, and then the and will be the 2nd string and then the 1st string. So a metronome, of course, is really useful with any of these things, but try to keep it really even, but keep the beat going with that 8th and 2/16 kind of rhythm. You can also kind of vary this a little bit by doing a hammer on here. Instead of just a single 8th note, we'll turn the whole thing into a 16th note phrase. And so the 1E will be picking the 3rd string open and then hammering onto that 1st fret. So now instead of, we'll be going. You can also try that phrase as triplets, or that shape as a triplet figure. So if you want an E major, just keep that 1st fret of the 3rd string fretted again, and so there would be a triplet example. Make this a little bit fancier. This is kind of like a sort of a bluegrassy banjo roll, and what we'll do here is pick the open 3rd string twice and do that hammer on twice. Then use the ring finger to pick the 1st string. And then while we're fretted on that 3rd string, just go right up the strings, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. So slowly that phrase. Another thing, and probably the single biggest way hybrid picking sort of influenced my playing, is incorporating it in places where you could otherwise be using a pick if you wanted to, but with the hybrid picking, it really kind of it eliminates a lot of the effort. Your wrist doesn't have to be doing this all the time. So something like, just a simple little bluesy lick like that, instead of picking the 2nd and 1st strings, you could hybrid pick those the same way we just did that E shape down here. So you pick that 3rd string and then use the middle and ring on the 2nd and 1st strings. And so you can then start incorporating the hybrid picking kind of wherever you want. Let's say I was going to work on the middle 2 strings, like an A minor pentatonic kind of thing. So if I'm going to be hanging out there, I'll use my pick on the 4th string, but I'll use my middle finger to do anything on the 3rd. Where if I was picking all that, it's a lot more motion for your picking hand. Whereas that way you're just kind of, flicking that finger every now and then. Another short little phrase that I think is kind of useful, you could look at this as being out of kind of A minor pentatonic, but we're going to do that 7th fret bar thing on the 2nd and 3rd strings. You'll see what I mean here in a sec. It isn't strictly A minor pentatonic, but here's what we're doing. So I'll be in 5th position here, And my first finger is going to be just kind of hanging out, barring the second and third strings at the 5th fret. My ring finger is going to be planted on the 7th fret of the 4th string here. And so I'll use the pick on the 4th string. And so this phrase is going to go, we'll pick that 7th fret 4th string note first. Now I'm going to use my middle and ring fingers on the 2nd and 3rd strings here. And to start, I'm going to actually bar this 7th fret all the way down. Then I'll just lift that ring finger so that I'm only fretting the 4th string, and here's where my index finger comes into play. And I'll do the same kind of thing with my picking hand, 4th string and then 2nd and 3rd together, kind of alternating that. And you can make that a little bit cooler by palm muting the 4th string. It's a little tricky. You got to kind of get a feel for it, muting just that far but not catching the higher strings. But so you can also, if you want to get a little fancier yet, you can hammer onto that 6th fret on the 3rd string. Get that minor to major 3rd thing going on in there. Check out the rest of my channel and feel free to contact me at davekosla@outlook.com if you're interested in private lessons.